Hey, welcome everybody to Slate 7. This is the first of many a series where we talk about a specific topic that's probably pertinent to all entrepreneurs and small business owners. Today, we're going to be talking about effort and what does that actually mean. I'm Daryl Peace, 50% of Slate 7, and we also have Katie Leonard here, who's also the other 50% of Slate 7. Say hi, Katie.
Hey, I'm excited.
I know. But yeah, I really wanted to talk about hustle and effort. I feel like, many people talk about it, many people use it as a buzzword, but they really don't put it into practice. And I think that's what we really want to talk about today is holding yourself accountable and are you really truly hustling 100% of the time and giving 100% effort. Um, the one thing I feel about multitasking is, you're always trying to do something else. You got 20 things on your plate. You feel busy. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But really, all you're doing is giving 1/20th of your effort
Mhm.
in order to get things done. So at the end of the day, have you really accomplished what you
Well, aren't
wanted
there a
to
lot of
accomplish?
studies too saying how multitasking is fake? Like you really legitimately can't effectively multitask.
And it's true. It's absolutely true. And when I first read that, actually, I said, no, that's not true at all. It's just not true. But it really is. And as an entrepreneur or a small business owner, or even if you're doing something as a side hustle, time is your worst enemy, and so you cannot waste your time doing things that have zero value,
And you,
right? And so, yeah.
oh, I was gonna say you have to know from the jump that because of that, I think Shonda Rhimes said it best in Year of Yes, where she was like, when you see me succeeding in one area, you have to know that I'm probably failing in another area. So if you see me succeeding, if I'm at my kids' play or the band recital, whatever it might be, I'm missing a board meeting or I'm missing, a writer's room conversation. And the same thing goes for business. I mean, you can take it at a really high level and be like family time, wellness, all of that, or you can even look on your business and know that you have to be very targeted with your effort in terms of where your success has to come from.
That's absolutely true. So, tell the audience, walk us through how do you personally check yourself and hold yourself accountable for a daily hustle?
I mean, I really had to learn the hard way in that, my bottom line was not showing the results of the hustle, of the effort I thought I was giving, even up until probably middle of last year, right? I was just spinning my wheels and doing things to be busy, but not looking at my actions and directly tying them to my targets and the metrics that I needed to be achieving. And so for me, it's really every day I'm all about, I think I've showed you before, all about my yellow pad and I write down my tasks for the day. And then first and foremost, I'm looking at what's bringing in money to the business or to my companies. And then I'm looking at what's the need to get done right now today. And then probably the most important thing is what are the items I don't want to do because those tend to carry over from list to list. So I try to incorporate that and then just everything else. So you always have to kind of be in line with where you want to go. And for me, it helps having it written down to see it.
Yeah, and for me, it's really about triage, and it really is a testament to what type of leader that you are, right? Because if you have 20 tasks and you need to break those down, they all need to be done at some point during that week. Some of them, like you said, do they really need to be done at all? Maybe, maybe not. Are there some that you can delegate to someone else in your company if there is someone else in your company? Maybe, maybe not. But the very first things that I want to do, you kind of alluded to it, is what has value. And whatever has the most value is really the things that you should be tackling first. And when I say value, I don't necessarily mean monetary. There's a lot of value in having meetings and fostering relationships. You don't get these deals overnight. It takes a long time sometimes to set up these deals. So each time you're moving the agenda forward, that's value, and there's necessarily no money tied to it at
Right.
that point in time, but it's still of value. And so just be careful when I say value, it doesn't necessarily equate to monetary, but you really want to knock out one, two, no more than three things every day to say, okay, I can cross these things off. Now you're broken down these 20 things into digestible chunks and you can actually get things done. I think it's very therapeutic for me to be able to cross off
Oh,
something
I love
at
it. I
the
love,
end
love,
of
love
the
it.
day, right?
I
But
will write stuff down after I did it just to cross it off. It feels so fulfilling.
yeah, it does. It really does. But I think in the end, what you'll find is that you are effectively using your time, and you'll see the results of that probably immediately if you're doing it correctly.
And there's so much research and science out there. This isn't, just us sitting here speaking, but the research even saying taking the action of crossing something off, or when you write it down, to your brain, when you crumple up that paper and you throw it away, that does something. I Some of the articles that I've read says that you shouldn't have more than 5 things on your to-do list. So I'm actually horrible because I'll put everything on there 'cause I'm like, I'm going to forget something. But, you have to do what works for you. And you have to know when you're at your best. I'm at my best between the hours of 4:30 a.m. and probably 12:30 p.m. Anything in the afternoon, good luck, right? My brain's not firing as rapidly. But you have to get in your zone and know what works for you and be disciplined to actually work through the task, because results oriented effort is much different than effort for effort's sake.
That's very true, and that's a very good point. You really have to know
I try
yourself.
to make good points.
I mean, you really have to know yourself, and you have to say, am I a morning person, or am I an evening person? And you may not be either one of those things, but you may have to convert yourself to be, because that's the only time in the day that you're able to get things done. If you're working a 9 to 5 and then you're trying to do a side hustle on top of that, well, middle of the day is not for you. It's either
Yeah.
going to be in the early morning or in the evening. You just have to find the time and able to get those things done. And that's what really makes it important, because now your time is extremely limited, and you do not want to waste your time and spend your wheels on things that are of zero value, to you. So
And it's
if it's worth
hard.
it to you, you're gonna find the time.
It's hard and it's different depending on what phase of business you're in. I can think back to when I was in super startup mode. I had no idea which way I was heading in, which way was right, which way was left. And I just was doing things to, try to keep my head above water. So when you're getting all of these different things thrown at you, or events, or people telling you you need to go meet this person, you need to go meet that person. Meanwhile, you have all of these admin tasks, and like you said, this was my zero model was my side hustle for a year and a half, and so working pretty much 2 full-time jobs every single day, I had to learn to get very targeted and efficient. And for me, it was sometimes breaking things down by different days. The things I didn't want to do, I did on Mondays because I love Mondays. And so you have to,
Mhm.
again, know where you need to rock and really take a big assessment, especially when you don't know what's going on and you're in that startup and it just seems super chaotic and stressful.
Right. Yeah. You have to be very surgical, in your approach, right? Because again, if you don't, you're just going to keep spinning your wheels. And you talk about the admin stuff. Well, some admin things, if you don't have to reach out to name a state organization or name a client, and therefore you can do it at night, right? It doesn't
Yep.
really matter if you're doing it at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. But if you need to meet somebody in order to push something forward, well, then that's probably going to be in the daytime. So again, you're going to have to really be mindful of how you spend your day. I know, back in the day when I had my company, it was, this client, I'll work 6 hours here, and then I'll go off and do this for 3 hour block, and then I'll do this for another 2 hour block, et cetera. But you kind of have to plan that out. And so every single hour of every single week was planned out.
Yep.
Every single Sunday, I would sit down and figure out, okay, what am I going to do this week? What do I need to accomplish? What employees do I need to go visit? Et cetera. And you have to do it that way. And then you have to adhere to the schedule, because if you don't
Right.
adhere to the schedule, then you're just going to screw
That is
yourself up
in
anyway.
general entrepreneurship, in that you have to parent yourself. And so when you're working for an employer, you have deadlines where you have accountability. You have somebody telling you, do this by this date. And as you get going, you'll have clients where you have those same deadlines. But the small nitty gritty tasks to meet those deliverables and those outputs, you have to sometimes force, and for me, many times, force yourself to do the things that you don't want to do. And it's hard. I mean, because you don't have anybody breathing down your back or telling you, that there's going to be a consequence or consequences or repercussions. You don't have that, right? But they
Yeah,
are
no,
there.
sure.
They're real. It's your bank
No,
account.
that's absolutely true, right? If you're working a 9 to 5 and then you come home and you decide to go on the couch and watch TV or do something other than work, there's repercussions for that, right?
Yeah.
It could be money lost. There's an opportunity cost to a lot of things that you're going to do. That's also lost. So at the end of the day, it's no one else you can blame but yourself. So then that's what I'm saying. You have to question yourself and say, hold yourself accountable and say, am I truly giving 100% of my hustle, right? Um,
I guess
you
like
know,
as we're
it
talking through this, it feels like a time management and effort
is.
conversation. I mean, I
It really is a time management. I mean, that's the key to it. Now, the other thing is, and I want to mention this really quickly before we sign off, is burnout. Burnout is real.
yep.
You have to take care of yourself, right? If you are your business, you're just getting started, and you are your business, then obviously you need to take care of yourself because without you, there is no business, and so you do have to take care of your physical, your mental health as well. And so,
And knowing
what
that,
I
oh, go ahead and finish.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, in order for me to make sure that I keep myself rejuvenated and recharged, so that way I can give 100%, on most days I pick admin days every month. I'll say, hey, the 18th, that's going to be my admin day. That's where I try to knock out anything that's
Yeah.
administrative. And then once a month, also, I would do a long weekend. Either, if I'm going out of town, it would be a Thursday to Sunday. If I'm staying in town, it's more like a staycation, so to speak. It's a Friday through Sunday. But during that time frame, you completely unplug. You don't bring a laptop. You don't do anything. You do things that you enjoy, and that's that. So when you come back Sunday night, Monday morning, you're ready to
And
go
I'm
again
going to
hard
be
for another
real.
four
That to
weeks.
me, I mean, I'm less than 5 years in. I haven't had that, right? I don't have time to even unplug for those long weekends just yet. So it's a balance. And that self care piece is so important. And I've had to learn, I've been burnt out mentally, first. I mean, it hits you mentally. There are days where or weekends on a Saturday where I'm like, I just want to sit in my bed and I want my phone at the neighbor's house. Like, I don't want to talk to anybody or deal with anything. And so again, it's that time
Mm-hmm.
management and balance and knowing that whatever inadequacies you have as it relates to effort, whether it's health, wellness, whether it's, you going out and working out, whether it's how you show up for your friends, those same weaknesses are going to show up in your business at a 10x level. And so if the things that you put off, or if you're a procrastinator in every other area of your life, don't trick yourself into thinking you're not going to procrastinate in your business. And I say that because that was me. And so it's
Right.
that effort, tying back to that is you're either going to do it or you're not. There's no in between. And
Yeah.
if you're going to do it, don't do it just because, do it and make it worth something.
Yeah. Absolutely. And as for my closing remark, the old adage is correct. You get what you pay for, right? So if you're only giving 20%, you're only going to get 20%. So hold yourself accountable in order for you to obtain your entrepreneurial goals.
Absolutely. And I would just say the same thing, like be results driven, be focused, be targeted, and parent yourself and do the hard things.
That's right.
Yeah.
So thank you for tuning in for this session of Slate 7. Stay tuned. If you need help in any entrepreneurial small business strategies, outlook, forecasting, etc., anything that's right now a roadblock or a hindrance, feel free to hit us up at Slate 7. We're at Slate_7 on Instagram.
No, it's Slate.7 on Instagram,
Slate
isn't
dot
it?
seven. I'm sorry. Yeah, Slate dot 7. I
We're
was
gonna get
reading
it.
it.
We got this though.
Yeah, we did.
All right.
All right.
See ya.
Until next time.